Oh my god!
On this day 11 years ago, Riot verified Bloodbath, the most iconic extreme demon in Geometry Dash history, that reigned as top 1 for over a year before. Yeah. We all know about Bloodbath and its reign as top 1, but what if I told you Bloodbath wasn't top 1? At least for as long as you think. Before getting into the complexities of the situation, we need to define what a top 1 actually is. You might think the top 1 is just the hardest level in the game, but you'd be wrong. If a level's top 1, that means it's widely considered to be the hardest rated level that's been beaten, but this definition leaves a few things out. There's a difference between a level being verified, rated, and placed accurately. You can have a level that's been verified but isn't rated, rated but placed incorrectly, or even placed but not actually verified. This is why we have the categories of retrospective top 1s and unrated top 1s. A retrospective top 1 is a level that, when verified, was the hardest level beaten in the game, but either did not get rated in time or was placed too low. An unrated top 1 has the same definition with the exception that, as the name states, it's a level that still hasn't been rated. Before breaking down some timelines, let's meet the levels involved in this story, starting with a version of history we all know. We all know the traditional history, but what if we change the rules? In this scenario, we use modern difficulty opinions to place these levels, keeping the rule that contenders must be rated. Bloodbath survives as top 1 until Phobos is rated on May 20th. Since Phobos is considered harder than Sakupen Hell, it holds on until Athanatos is rated and placed at number 1. Finally, Sonic Wave takes its spot. In this case, Bloodbath loses over 5 months of its top 1 reign. RobTop can be pretty slow at rating levels, so we'll get rid of that requirement, but we'll compensate by not using modern difficulty opinions. Bloodbath loses its spot to Acropolis, one of the only levels in this era to actually be considered more difficult than Bloodbath. It was also considered more difficult than Sakupen Hell, so its spot is taken by Athanatos, which brings us to the end once again. This time, we'll use all of the knowledge we have and take as much time off Bloodbath's reign as we can. Instead of surviving until Phobos or Acropolis, Bloodbath is actually dethroned by Windfall, a level that's unrated to this day. Just 13 days later, Phobos is verified and takes the number 1 spot, but for much shorter this time. Acropolis has the greatest 2-day reign before Stormfly verifies the Hell Zone, and not only is the Hell Zone harder than Sakupen Hell, it's harder than Athanatos, which means it sits at top 1 for 115 days before Sonic Wave takes over. In this case, Bloodbath loses 182 days of its top 1 reign. So, after all that, how long was Bloodbath actually top 1? Well, the answer can be anywhere between 443 and 261 days. It's just based on how you define a top 1. We like to imagine the Demonlist as this linear timeline where one level becomes harder than another and stays at number 1 until the next level comes along, but that's not really how it works. Levels can go unnoticed or unrated, mods can make mistakes on placements or checking verifications, and the community can go years without realizing just how difficult a level really is. Bloodbath was officially top 1 for 443 days, but it was not the most difficult completion for that long. It's known for being in top 1 for over a year, but it might not have even made it to 9 months. But none of this should take away from Bloodbath or Riot. Bloodbath is still the level that defined an entire era of Geometry Dash and inspired countless other levels and players to compete and push the game to its limits even years later.